Hi, this is Youturn. I am Ian Karthikeyan. Recently, the official Twitter handle of Gujarat CM posted a tweet with an infographic video. In that video, a map of India is shown, which doesn't include Pakistan occupied Kashmir and China occupied Kashmir. Imagine the reaction of BJP if the same thing had been done by a non BJP state. They would have been branded traitors instantly. The controversial tweet by the Gujarat CM's Twitter handle has been taken down, but this should not be considered a simple mistake, as the tension between India and China is entering into a more dangerous situation. India and China have a public tussle at UN. China keeps encroaching on Indian territory every other day and challenges India's sovereignty. It is a very tricky situation to be in, but we are being told by the BJP and the North Indian media that everything is alright since we banned some apps. In the past few months, there have been three attempts by India to get some of the most dangerous terrorists in UNSC sanctions regime. All these three attempts were shut down by China. Nobody knows how this is going to end. Since China is a permanent member of UN, it can veto any resolution. In this particular case, it keeps blocking the India attempt to include some notorious terrorists on the global terrorist list. When we talk about what China is doing at UN, the first question comes to our mind is why this is so important. Terrorists who are all on the 1267 Al Qaeda sanctions committee list of the UN Security Council cannot hold a property in any member country of UN, or they cannot travel to any other countries, and they cannot hold any arms. That's why it is important to get the terrorist name on the list. Who are those terrorists? Well, these are some of the most dangerous terrorists we ever heard. We will see one by one. First one on the list is Sajid Mir. He is a high-level leader of the Pakistan-based lashkar-e-taiba who planned the 2008 Mumbai terror attack. The attack resulted in the death of almost 170 civilians, which also includes 6 Americans. This prompted the US to offer a reward of $5 million for information about Sajid Mir. US and India brought a motion to the list Sajid Mir in UNSC sanctions list. US and India brought down a motion to list Sajid Mir in UNSC list to brand him as global terrorist. But China stopped it. China prevented Sajid Mir's name from being on the list by saying it needs more time to review. In August, China did the exact same thing when US India jointly presented the Jaish-e-Mohammed deputy chief of Rauf Askar to be included in the sanctioned terrorist list. Rauf Askar was involved in Kandahar plane hijacking in 1999, Parliament attack in 2001, and he also involved even in the Pulwama attack, which killed 42 personnel of the CRPF. Early in June, China vetoed a similar proposal to include Abdul Rahman Maki, who is also from lashkar-e-taiba and also the brother-in-law of Hasif Syed, the chief of terrorist organization lashkar-e-taiba. Our problem with China go way back. There has been a disagreement regarding the borders right from the inception of Indian independence. This dispute reached a breaking point during the China-India War of 1962 and resulted in a temporary arrangement through the line of actual control. However, China seems not to respect the LAC anymore and continues to encroach more each day. For the past 2 years, India witnessed China building a bridge across the Penang Lake and crossing the Galwan Valley and killing 20 Indian soldiers. But the response from the India is not so satisfied. India has banned more than 200 apps in 2 installments that were of Chinese origin in response to losing those territory and soldiers to China. This was hugely celebrated by the right wing. Some fans of the Prime Minister even termed the move as tactical and claimed that Modi is punishing China economically. We lost territory to China. How do we respond? We ban apps from China? Is that a response? We lost soldiers as China killed them. How do we respond? We ban apps from China? India is not in a position to have a complete trade ban with China. India depends on Chinese imports for various key sectors such as consumer electronics, automotive components, and chemicals. India imported goods worth of $87.5 billion from China in 2021, and we exported goods worth $27.2 billion. Our export to China are mostly raw materials like iron, steel, copper, chemicals, mineral fuels, and cotton. But we import all finished goods and products from China. We simply do not have the same manufacturing infrastructure that China has. Yet, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi and BJP supporters talk big about the Make in India project. Let's see from China perspective. China export to India is just 3% of its total export. China is in much advantageous position in this regard. The Chinese army is relatively stronger than the India in arms and ammunition. But how do we respond? We are going into chest tumbling spear claiming that our air force is stronger than China. But do you know? It was based on a report from an unknown website. The right wing ecosystem went crazy and took the pride based on the fake news. How absurd it is. Every single media started to cover the news also. Since trade ban or military action is not viable, India should find a way, one or the other way. Having said that, how are we doing so far? Let's see. Yeah, our good old technique, banning some apps. It's extremely unclear to a concerned citizen as there is no pragmatic and sensible discussion about that. There is no discussion where we discuss what could be done given our position. Mainstream media in North India is too busy in praising Modi all the time and calling every move from the BJP a master stroke. Hope Modi bans some Chinese app. The North India media hypes it up, amplifies BJP propaganda that Modi had defeated China. How? Banning some apps from your phone. That phone is probably made in China. Shall we be more aggressive in trade bans? Should we keep trying diplomatic solutions? Should there be more dramatic measures given the precarious situation? Our media tells no, absolutely not. Apps banned. Now everything is alright. China aggression is terrifying on multiple fronts. On one end, China is keep encroaching our lands each a day. We are not able to do anything about it. On another end, China stops the sanctioning international terrorists on the UNSC sanctions list. We are not able to do anything. And at another end, we trade more and more with China. We are not able to do anything about that. But common people are made to believe that everything is taken care by Modi. If we ban some Chinese apps, yeah. Our PM tells us that China did not enter our territory, when in fact they did, and they killed 20 Indian soldiers. But if we ban some apps in the retaliation, we win. Wow, what a surgical strike. The China problem should be taken care very seriously. Not just by government, not just by media, but all the citizens. Every citizen of India should know clearly what is going on with China in the border, in the UN, and also in the trade. What do you think? What do you think is the right way to move forward for India in countering the Chinese aggression? Should there be more concrete steps from the Indian government? Is banning Chinese apps enough? Now, tell us.